और इस गीत के
The central bank decides to continue with accommodative monetary policy to revive durable growth and to mitigate the impact of COVID-19. Repo rate, reverse repo rate and marginal standing facility remain unchanged. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to deliver keynote address at IIT Global Summit organized by PAN IIT USA. The summit will focus on issues like global economy, technology, innovation, health, habitat conservation and universal education. The nation observes Naval Day today to recognize the service, sacrifice and achievements of Indian Navy. President, Prime Minister and other leaders extend greetings on the occasion. Navy Chief Admiral Karambir Singh says Navy's outreach and assistance during COVID-19 pandemic have reaffirmed India's credibility as a partner, no matter the challenge. Counting of votes underway for Greater Hyderabad Municipal Council polls. Initial reports and trends show BJP emerging as largest party. Third phase of DDC elections being held in Union Territory of Jammu and Kashmir today. 305 candidates in the electoral fray across 33 constituencies in the third phase. In relief to southern coast of the country, cyclone Burevi weakens into a deep depression. IMD says the deep depression will move west-southwestwards and likely to further weaken into a depression. Southern parts of Tamil Nadu and parts of Kerala receive heavy rains. And in sports, India to take on Australia in the first T20 International of India's Tour of Australia 2020 today. The first match of the three-match series to be played at Canberra. Good morning. You're watching DD News and I'm Preeti presenting the bulletin. In the next half an hour, we'll get an account of everything that's been making it to the headlines. We get to our top story first. The Reserve Bank of India has voted unanimously to keep the key interest rates unchanged while keeping an accommodative stance. RBI Governor Shaktikant Das in a press brief said that as per the decision of the Central Bank's Monetary Policy Committee, the policy repo rate, the benchmark at which RBI lends to the banks, will stay at 4%. Also, the reverse repo rate will continue to be 3.35%.
The MPC voted unanimously to leave the policy repo rate unchanged at 4%. It also decided to continue with the accommodative stance of monetary policy as long as necessary, at least through the current financial year and into the next year, to revive growth on a durable basis and mitigate the impact of COVID-19, while ensuring that inflation remains within the target going forward.
The RBI Governor also said that real GDP growth for 2021 is projected at minus 7.5%. He added that recovery in rural demand is expected to strengthen, while further urban demand is also gaining momentum. He stressed that GDP growth will turn positive in the third quarter of this fiscal.
The real GDP growth for 2021 is projected at minus 7.5. I repeat, the real GDP growth for 2021 is projected at minus 7.5. And the breakup would be as follows. The first two quarters are already known. And for Q3, we are projecting plus 0.1%. And for Q4, we are projecting plus 0.7% in, as I said, in the Q4. So, in other words, the H2 is expected to show positive growth. And the projection for the H1 of next year, that is 2021, is projected at 21.9% to 6.5%.
Union Environment Minister Prakash Javadekar has said that stubble burning has stopped, but the air quality levels in the national capital continue to remain in poor category. He added that the Central Pollution Control Board has issued a notice to the Delhi government in this regard and sought strict action against the violators.
केंद्रीय प्रदूषण नियंत्रण मंडल ने दिल्ली सरकार को एक नोटिस जारी किया है और नोटिस के तहत जो बायोमास बर्निंग होता है, कचरा कहीं जलाया जाता है, कचरे का निष्पादन ठीक नहीं होता, कंस्ट्रक्शन डिमोलिशन वेस्ट पे जो नियम लागू है उसका पालन नहीं होता, इंडस्ट्रियल इस्टेट में धूल बहुत उड़ रही है, ये जो प्रदूषण के कारण है उस पर तुरंत कार्रवाई करें और जो कंप्लेंट्स आ रहे हैं जो हम दिल्ली सरकार को फॉरवर्ड कर रहे हैं उसका भी संज्ञान और एक्शन तुरंत ले।
Union Minister for Road, Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, today virtually attended the inauguration and foundation Stone Link program of national highway projects in Nagaland. Now, these are 15 national highway projects of 270 kilometers worth 4,127 crore rupees in Nagaland. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will deliver a keynote address at IIT 2020 Global Summit organized by Pan IIT USA today. The theme of this year's summit is "The Future is Now." The summit will focus on issues like global economy, technology, innovation, health, habitat conservation and universal education. Pan IIT USA is an organization that is more than 20 years old. Since 2003, Pan IIT USA has organized this conference and invited speakers from different sectors, including industry, academia and government. Pan IIT USA is run by an all-volunteer team of IIT alumni. And the Union Minister for Road, Transport and Highways, Nitin Gadkari, is speaking.
And
we'll
the
take you
people
live
of
there.
Nagaland. I am giving my all best wishes to all of you. The Nagaland is most important state as far as the Northeast is concerned, and for the development of Northeast as well as development of Nagaland, we are very much committed for that. The total NH network in the state of Nagaland was 880.68 km till 2014. The NH network has been expanded to 1,547 km. 667 km added to the NH network in the state of Nagaland during the last 6 years. That is growth of 75.73% in the NH network in the state of Nagaland in last 6 years. Connecting all districts is the important program for the national highway. Almost all districts in the state of Nagaland now have been connected. Expect few to robust network of national highways. The NH network density in 2020 now is 93.30 km. That is 1,000 square meter against national average of 39.90 km per 1,000 square meter. The population-wise density of NH network is 2020 is 77.73 km. Lakh population against national average of 10.80 km per lakh population. The sanction of new works for development of NH in last 6 years. For development and improvement of national highway, 50 numbers of work of total length of 1,663 km, 0.41 km, and total cost of 11,711.06 crore have been approved in last 6 years. This includes about 47.9 km of 3 projects, concrete roads, as a part of improvement of Dimapur city, which is the largest city of Nagaland, and project at a total cost of rupees 1,598.29 crore. The 23 number of works of length 212.3 kilometer amounting of rupees 726.01 crore have been implemented in last 6 years. 16 numbers of work of length of 690.27 kilometer amounting of rupees 7,955.62 crore are in the progress. 7 numbers of work of length of 105.13 kilometer amounting rupees 966.75 crore are in tendering process. 11 numbers of work in length of 178.34 kilometer costing of rupees 2,127.24 crore are to be approved during 2021 with enhanced sanctioning ceiling. 5 number of works in length of 524 kilometer costing of rupees 6,808 crore are in DPR stage. Already the list which is already the works are completed, that is 23 projects, length is 212 kilometer and cost is 726 crore which is already completed. The ongoing project, 16 numbers of work of length kilometer 690.27 kilometer, that is approximately 700 kilometer costing 7,955.62 crore. Here this is already ongoing projects are going on. These are the very important projects: 4 laning of Dimapur Kohima Road, 4 laning of Dimapur Kohima Road package 1, 4 laning of Dimapur Kohima Road package 2, 4 laning of Dimapur Kohima Road package 3, 4 laning of Dimapur bypass road, then Nagaland portion 1 and Assam portion 2, 2 laning of Chakamba Jueto Road, then Chakamba Jueto Road package 1, Chakamba Jueto Road package 2, then Chakamba Juvenboto Road package 3, Chakamba Juevato Road package 4 and Chakamba Juevato Road package 5, then 2 laning of Chantagoya Longjilang Road, Chantagoya Longling Road package 1, Chantagoya Longling Road package 2 and 2 laning of Fekapustro Road package 1 and Pekeshpustro Road package 2.
So that was Union Minister for Road Transport and Highways Nitin Gadkari speaking after virtually inaugurating and participating in the Foundation Stone Laying Ceremony program at the National Highway projects in Nagaland. And as we've told you, now these are 15 National Highway projects of 270 kilometers, which are worth 4,127 crore rupees. We'll keep you updated. Meanwhile, let's get to other news. Indian Navy Day is being observed today to recognize the achievements and role of the Indian Navy towards the country. The day commemorates Operation Trident, the attack launched by Indian Navy on Karachi Harbour during 1971's Indo-Pakistan War. It was for the first time that an anti-ship missile was used in the operation. The operation inflicted heavy damage on Pakistani vessels and India did not suffer any loss during the operation. As part of this operation, the Indian Navy sank 4 Pakistani vessels and ravaged Karachi Harbour fuel fields in Pakistan. The Indian Navy's 3 warships, INS Nipat, INS Nirghat and INS Veer, played an important role in the attack. President Ramnath Kovind has extended greetings on the Navy Day today. In a tweet, President said, and I quote him, "On Navy Day, my greetings to our Navy personnel, veterans and their families. The nation is proud of your commitment in protecting our maritime frontiers, securing our trade routes and providing assistance in times of civil emergencies. May you ever rule the waters. Jai Hind." Also, Prime Minister Narendra Modi greeted the valorous Navy personnel and their families on the occasion of Navy Day today. In a tweet, he said, and I quote him, "The Indian Navy fearlessly protects our coasts and also renders humanitarian assistance in times of need. We also remember India's rich maritime tradition over centuries." Naval Chief Admiral Karambir Singh paid tributes to martyrs at National War Memorial in Delhi. Earlier in a message, he said that the Indian Navy plays central role in safeguarding and promoting India's security and national interest. He assured that they are fully on the forefront to support Prime Minister's vision of Sagar.
Navy plays a central role in safeguarding and promoting India's security and national interests in the maritime domain. This year, amidst the unprecedented challenges posed by COVID-19, the Indian Navy has remained forward deployed and combat ready, protecting and preserving India's interests at sea. In keeping with the Honorable Prime Minister's vision of Sagar, that is security and growth for all in the region, the Indian Navy has been at the forefront of cooperative engagements. The Navy's efforts have served as a bridge for collaborative partnerships in the region with like-minded nations based on a shared vision and mutual trust.
He also said that Navy is contributing to nation building by firmly anchoring its capability enhancements endeavors on indigenization and self-reliance.
स्वदेशीकरण यानी इंडिजिनाइजेशन तथा आत्मनिर्भरता यानी सेल्फ रिलायंस पर नौसेना के विशेष ध्यान दिया है। इसके तहत अपनी क्षमता को बढ़ाने के प्रयासों के साथ साथ नौसेना ने राष्ट्रीय निर्माण में भी योगदान दिया है। आत्मनिर्भरता के अंतर्गत नौसेना अपने बजट का एक अहम हिस्सा देश की इकोनॉमी में वापस निवेश करती है।
And up next, shifting focus, we get to updates on the counting of votes in Greater Hyderabad Municipal Council election, which is underway today amidst elaborate security arrangements. 3 layered security arrangements are in place near counting centres set up at 30 places. 8,152 officials are being engaged in the process, which is being recorded in CCTV cameras. As ballot papers were used for election, the results will be known later today. 46.55% voters exercised their franchise on December 1st, following a high-pitched campaign. Telangana Rashtra Samiti won the last election in 2016, bagging 99 out of 150 wards. Asaduddin Owaisi's AIMIM had won 44 seats, while the BJP had won 4 seats, Congress 2 and the TDP 1. After 3 rounds of extensive talks with the farmers on 14th October, 13th November and 1st December, the centre once again actively engaged with farmers yesterday. Union Ministers Narendra Singh Tomar and Piyush Goyal met with farmers' delegations for 4th round of talks aimed at resolving the ongoing protest seeking repeal of new farm acts. Union Minister of State for Commerce Som Prakash, who is a lawmaker from Punjab, also took part in the talks with representatives of 32 unions. The government had asked the farmers to identify specific issues related to 3 acts for discussion. The government has made it clear that it has no qualms about giving a patient hearing to the demands of the farmers and has agreed to consider the demands of the farmers in a positive and constructive way. After almost 7.5 hours of marathon meeting, it was decided that the next round of the meeting will take place tomorrow. Amidst all the protests, there are farmers who are all praised for the new farm laws which have benefited them. Let's listen in.
सुधार हुआ है ना, ये बहुत ही बढ़िया है, किसानों के लिए दिया है। इससे क्या है कि जो किसान पहले स्वतंत्र नहीं था इतना, और अब क्या है कि वो स्वतंत्र हो गया, वो अपना माल कहीं भी बेच सकता है। पहले क्या है, मंडियों में जाते थे, वहाँ पे जो रेट लगता था उनमें देने के आना पड़ता था।
3 जो अध्यादेश सरकार ने लागू किया है उससे हमारे को कोई दिक्कत नहीं आई, हमको रेट अच्छा मिला, हम अपनी फसल को कहीं भी बेच सकते हैं हमें को आज़ादी मिली, इसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं।
कृषि कानून अध्यादेश के तहत आज जो आईटीसी ने खरीदी चालू की है, उसके लिए मैं मोदी जी का धन्यवाद करना चाहता हूं कि जिन्होंने यह नियम लागू कर आज किसानों के हित में बहुत बड़ा कार्य किया है।
J&K में तो ऐसी कोई सुविधा नहीं थी किसानों के लिए, तो अभी मोदी जी की तरफ से जो ये मिली है तो इसका तो हर किसान फायदा उठाएगा। मुझे लगता है कि उठाना भी चाहिए, क्योंकि पहले जो था हमारे यहाँ साधन कृषि का, तो उसमें हमारी जिनके साथ भी डीलिंग होती थी किसानों की, वो आधा तो मुनाफा उन्हीं को जाता था डायरेक्ट, मतलब किसान तक पहुँचते पहुँचते उसमें से आधा कम हो जाता। तो अब डायरेक्ट हमारा जो डीलर से ही कंसेप्ट रहेगा।
जो बिल पास हुआ है उसको मैंने अब बहुत अच्छी तरह पढ़ा हुआ है। उसमें जितना भी किसानों को लेके जो न्यूनतम जो मूल्य जो तय किए हुए हैं, वो उसको बहुत बारीकी से जो बड़े बड़े जो एक्सपर्ट उन्होंने बैठ के बनाया है, और मुझे लगता है कि जो ये बिल है ये किसानों के हित में ही होगा, लोगों को इसमें फायदा होगा।
भारत सरकार जो नरेंद्र मोदी जी 3 अध्यादेश लाए हैं, उससे किसानों का बहुत बड़ा फायदा होगा। बिचौलिए खत्म लग रहे हो, जो भी पैसा होगा या तो वो सरकार के पास रहेगा या किसानों के पास आएगा।
In Jammu and Kashmir Union Territory, polling is underway for the third phase of DDC elections. Till 9 a.m., 8.33% votes were polled in 33 DDC constituencies. Also, voting is underway for Panchayat by polls 2020. 33 constituencies of the third phase include 16 from Kashmir division and 17 from Jammu division. There are a total of 305 candidates in the electoral fray, including 166 from Kashmir division and 139 from Jammu division for DDC elections in phase 3. In the third phase, over 7.37 lakh electors are eligible to cast their votes, including around 3.85 lakh males and around 3.51 lakh females. In Tamil Nadu, heavy rains lashed Thoothukudi district last night as depression off the coast in Gulf of Mannar remains practically stationary. Now, according to the Met Department, the deep depression is likely to move slowly west-southwestwards and cross Ramanathapuram and adjoining Thoothukudi districts during the next 6 hours. It is very likely to weaken further into a depression during the next 12 hours. While waterlogging was witnessed in low-lying areas in Rameshwaram. The Met Department has also announced that rains will continue for the next 2 days, disrupting daily activities of the people. Meanwhile, 12 flights between Chennai and Tuticorin, Madurai and Kochi have been cancelled for the third successive day due to depression in Gulf of Mannar. Although the cyclone has weakened to deep depression and may reach Kerala only as a depression, alert as initiated from yesterday continues in the state. A new bulletin released by IMD says that a weakened low pressure would enter Kerala at a speed of 30 to 40 kilometers per hour. It would reach the Arabian Sea through the northeast coast of Thiruvananthapuram. The ban on fishing will continue till tomorrow. Holiday has been declared for 5 southern districts and exams have been postponed. Tourism activities including houseboat tourism remains suspended. Thiruvananthapuram airport will open only at 6 p.m. today. Special attention is on the landslide prone areas in high range areas of Kerala, and required evacuations were already made by Thursday night. National Investigation Agency is investigating November 19th terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir's Nagrota. Following Union Home Ministry's approval, NIA registered FIR in Jammu Police Station on Wednesday and began the probe. Teams of NIA have already visited the spot on the same day of the encounter and have been working closely with Jammu Kashmir Police. A quick update on the COVID-19 situation across the country. 42,916 recoveries were recorded yesterday, taking the cumulative total of recovered patients to 90,16,289. With this, the recovery rate currently stands at 94.2%. India's three-pronged strategy of test, trace and treat is proving to be a success. The fatality rate has dropped to 1.45% with 1,39,188 deaths recorded so far. The number of active COVID-19 cases in India stands at 4,16,082, which is 4.35% of the total cases reported so far. According to the ICMR, that is Indian Council of Medical Research, the total number of samples tested up to 3rd of December is 14,47,27,749. Out of this, 11,70,102 samples were tested yesterday. Let's get to sports updates now. In cricket, India will take on hosts Australia in the first of the three-match 2020 series in Canberra today. The second and third 2020 matches will take place in Sydney on 6th and 8th of this month. Australia has already clinched the three-match ODI series by winning the first and second ODIs. India defeated the host by 13 runs in the third and final ODI at Canberra. Both the countries will also play 4 test matches. The first test match will begin in Adelaide from 17th December. That's it in this edition of the news this hour. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.